It has been a while. My name is PeachJars, first name Peach, last name Jars, and I can't remember the last time I just did a sit-down video. I think I've only done one. There's been a lot of changes in my life since I last uploaded a YouTube video. So this is my dog Juno. I've had her for 4 years. Come here. And this is Frankie. She's a 1-year-old golden retriever. And there's Goose. Okay, the whole family's here almost. I'm missing one cat. And this is my living room in my house that I bought about 1.5 years ago. Welcome to my mini life update and tattoo tour. I don't know how many tattoos I have. We're gonna find out today because I can't remember the last time I counted. And I'm gonna go through and explain every single tattoo that I have. I have been getting tattoos since the day after I moved out of my parents' house at 18 years old. And I'm getting a new tattoo tomorrow, my first one in 4 years. So I thought it'd be a fun time to just go through them all, as it's something people ask me all the time. And we are gonna go through the list of tattoos that I have from my first tattoo to my most recent tattoo. There's also some crazy stories behind some of these tattoos, and there's also some sad stories. So I'm gonna put a big fat trigger warning on this video, as we will be talking about some themes of and self-harm and some meaning behind some of my more serious tattoos. I also asked my Twitch chat for a bunch of questions that they had on my tattoos today. If you would like to give me a follow on twitch.tv/PeachJars, I'm doing some really interesting content over there. Can you not lick your shit? That is not very ladylike. I'm sorry. Here at the PeachJars household, we do uphold a professional standard, and that was very embarrassing, and I'm so sorry that you had to see that.
I'm like, what do you say f me for?
I have a lot of questions, so I think I'm just gonna go through the list first, and then maybe me talking about them for a while will answer your questions. So my first tattoo, I quite literally got the day after I moved out of my parents' house. I really wanted a tattoo. My parents really didn't want me to have a tattoo. I didn't tell my parents I was getting this tattoo. And I was very impulsive back then. I just didn't know who I wanted to be, but I wanted to be that person really fast. So I ripped this image off of Tumblr, Tumblr, bro. And I even have run into girls at the beach with the same tattoo in the same placement. I do have that photo somewhere. God, I hope I still have it. So that mandala at the very top was my first ever tattoo. Funny thing about it as well is if you look at it really closely, I'm actually missing part of the tattoo because I got skin removed. I thought I was so cool getting that tattoo, bro. And honestly, I feel like that's a pretty large piece in a very delicate area for my first tattoo. So I felt like a little bit of a badass. It was a very interesting feeling because there's a lot of nerves right there, obviously. So like my fingers were tingling. I was like sweating really bad. But I would always wear low-cut tops through college, in the back. I had nothing to show in this department. Let's get that straight. Whenever people would be like, nice tattoo, I'm just like, I know. Like, girl, I don't even know what happened to the tattoo artist who made it. So I've been trying to, I don't know what to do with it. I think that is gonna be a tattoo that I eventually cover up. I've been in a talk with an artist to cover up a lot of pieces, but I haven't had a cover up yet. The second tattoo that I got has more of an interesting story, and I don't know the timeline of how old I was. I'm gonna guess I got the mandala whenever I was 18, and this next one whenever I was 19. So if you watch my Twitch streams, you've probably heard these crazy stories about a guy that I had a restraining order against. Well, whenever I was dating him, he was really into drugs. Oh, how all good relationships starts. Am I right, ladies? Do not take advice from me. I took Molly for the first time, and you know what's crazy? I took the Molly, and I waited 30 minutes. I was like, I don't feel anything. So he gave me more, and then he said, I have to go to work, and locked me in a room. I am not kidding you. So I tripped on Molly for the first time alone in a room. I actually had a blast, surprisingly. I really enjoyed myself. I did a lot of push-ups for some reason. But on the come down, I was still pretty high because I had taken 2. And whenever my boyfriend at the time got back from work, I was like, we should go get matching tattoos. We were only dating for 2 months at this point, and this boy wanted nothing to do with me. So I waltzed right into the tattoo shop. I look at this big board of Chinese letters because I can't figure out what I want to get, you know? And I pick out the words icy bitch because I think it's Gucci Mane's song where it's like, She's an icy little that bitch is so icy. I used to listen to that a lot in college. That tells you what type of person I was. And I got it tattooed. I have been told that this translates to cold shovel in Chinese, which is not a very proud moment of mine. And you will notice that it's quite faded because I did go through several removal sessions for those. And all tattoos that I got whenever I was 18, 19, I had severe tanning addiction. And now I'm pasty as hell and I stay inside and I play Stardew Valley for 13 hours. I stopped doing the removal sessions. I'm getting 4 removed and we're gonna go through all of those today. My ex, by the way, he said that he was gonna get a tattoo that said banana bastard on it because we were just picking out the craziest words on this wall. After I got my tattoo, he backed out. And you know what's crazy is that this guy is covered in the world tattoos that he got at random like house parties and garages. My third one that I got is just another one that was ripped off a Tumblr. It really has no meaning. I just had this like month-long stint of being like, I want to be so tatted, bro. I want to be so tatted on the beach for spring break. But I was broke with a capital B, so I couldn't get tatted, bro, on my timeline that I wanted. So, oh god, this one I think is my most cringe one. I'm so sorry to the artist that this is by. Now I'm very knowledgeable and you shouldn't just rip people's art off the internet and get it tattooed without permission, especially independent artists. So this one quite literally just says, I think it says cheat death, live free. I don't know. I can't see it and it's like half gone. I find it incredibly cringe. I completely forget that I have it all the time because it's in a very weird spot. I was hanging out with my best friend and I talked about the tattoo briefly and she's like, what the f? She was like gobsmacked that I had this tattoo because she had no idea I had it. My next tattoo after that, I got some small ones. I don't remember the exact timeline and forgive me if I'm saying it wrong because sue me, I'm not a huge Naruto fan anymore. I used to be a really big Naruto fan, and I got a Sharingan on my back, which is like the eye that, you know, like Kakashi had. I was really obsessed with Kakashi. It's not even the correct one that Kakashi had. Like, it's a two-tone Sharingan, I believe. And that is in, let me see. That is in my middle back right there. And it's okay. I have scoliosis, so all my tattoos are slightly off, which is even more embarrassing. And since I'm right here, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this dragon one. So again, I wanted to be really tatted really fast. I found this dragon design, I think, again, on the internet, no prior research. And mind you, whenever I find these things on the internet, I book my appointment immediately. You don't even have time to think. I'm headed to the tattoo shop. Who's coming with me? That was my vibe back then. Very reckless, very reckless. This guy who did my tattoo, he was a little bit creepy. If I remember correctly, as I don't have the messages anymore, one, the tattoo process was god awful. That was my worst tattoo that I got pain-wise. That was one session, by the way. That entire tattoo that you just see is one session. And I'm pretty skinny now. I was even skinnier back then. So I had no like fat to like prevent the pain. It was just raw bone and needle for like 6 hours. Intensely painful. And it was such a bad feeling. I just didn't want to go back. And so the artist kept on messaging me and kept on messaging me. And he was like, if it's a money thing, we can work out a deal. What deal, you say? A little sucky it was. And so I never went back. Who the f would go back? That tattoo shop, I never sat foot in it again, which is good. Good, I never went back there. So that was the last tattoo shop, or last tattoo I got from that shop. All the tattoos that you have seen up until that point are from this one tattoo shop in my hometown. And that dragon tattoo is not finished, and I don't think it will ever be finished because I was really disappointed in it. And I cringe every time that somebody's like, oh my god, sick dragon tattoo. I think we get into a little bit more sad topics with my next tattoos. So I apologize in advance. These are some things that I don't really talk about on my platforms for very good reason, because a lot of people get mad at me oddly for talking about these things. I believe my next tattoo after that was I got "See You Space Cowboy" tattooed on my thigh. So you can't see it because it's right here, but it says "See You Space Cowboy," and that is a saying from Cowboy Bebop, one of my favorite animes. And this logo is what we're going to talk about right here, this little spaceship thing. Both of these tattoos are getting removed right now, slowly but surely, and I will explain why. So I got "See You Space Cowboy" for myself. I didn't mean for that to be for anybody else besides me, as that is a god tier anime. But the reason why I'm getting it removed is because I feel like I just didn't do it justice enough. The type is off. I really love Cowboy Bebop, and I want a better tattoo for it. Let's reverse and go back into the history of my life, and this is where the trigger warning comes into play. These will be a little bit of sad topics talked about, but these are my tattoos, and this is what they represent. So back in 2018, I was dating a guy named Chris. We were long distance, and he was great. I mean, I can't remember the last time I got to sit down and talk about him, so I'm sorry, I'm an emotional person. I may get teary-eyed. I met him at an anime convention, and we instantly had a connection. We had a mutual friend, and we were staying in the same room, and I would steal glances at him the entire time of the convention. And I remember the last night of the convention, we were sitting next to each other on a couch, and our knees touched, bro. Our knees touched. But I remember being so excited. I was like, oh my God, this guy is so cute. He's so much fun. I really am into him. So later that night, we were all packing up to go back home, and I thought I left my portable speaker in the hotel room. So I asked around for Chris's number, thinking, I'm gonna ask him for my speaker. And of course, he's like, oh, your speaker's not here. And I'm like, oh, darn, my speaker. So are you single? And that is how me and Chris met. We instantly started talking to each other every single night. He lived in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio, out of all places. I don't know why I have this weird tie to Ohio no matter what. And we would play video games every single night. We would call each other for hours. I mean, FaceTime hours upon hours upon hours. And he was moving to Austin. He was graduating college and moving to Austin. So he came down a couple times, hung out with me and my friends. We looked at apartments. I thought, our lives were finally starting. I wasn't living in Austin yet. I live in Austin now, if you didn't know that. And I just really wanted to, start a life in Austin with this guy. I thought we had an amazing connection. And one night, I was leaving the gym and I called him and I was like, hey, I'm heading home. I want to go play Stardew Valley. I can't wait to see you. I miss you. I'll never forget this phone call. He was smiling. He was happy. He was laughing. He was asking me how my workout was. I was almost home and I sat down at my computer and I called him on Discord and he didn't answer. And he didn't answer for 3 days. And he never picked up. From that time, I talked to him on the phone to getting home. He was gone. He was just gone. It was really fast. It was really fast, and I thought I did something wrong. I didn't hear from him for 3 days. I texted his mom to go check on him. I thought he was mad at me. I thought I did something wrong for those 3 days. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I f***ed up. Please respond to me. I'm so excited to see you in Austin. Why are you mad at me? I'm sorry to cry. I don't think I've literally talked about any of that on the internet. Maybe just to my best friend. It was a lot. And at the same time in 2018, my sister had cancer, leukemia. My grandpa had passed away. My dog passed away. This was all in a 6-month time span. And I was struggling so hard. I definitely feel like I got some tattoos as a form of self-harm. Not because I wanted the tattoo or I thought the design was really neat or that's what I wanted at the time. I was just in such misery and pain. And I know, I'm sorry to get sad and sappy. I've never cried on YouTube before, God damn it. I cry on Twitch all the time though. I just didn't know what else to do at that time. So that little spaceship is Chris's Twitch logo. He used to stream on Twitch I mean, we would play Fortnite a lot. I really loved Fortnite and I loved playing Fortnite with him. And he had the best laugh, like literally so entertaining and easily charismatic on Twitch. It was the best. So I got his Twitch logo as a, an homage to him. And I bet you're wondering, why are you removing it? Is because I got it for the wrong reason. I got it because I was in pain. I was hurting. I was upset. I was confused. I was mad. I was sad. I was feeling every emotion at once. I was feeling every emotion I could ever describe in the English language. I wanna start fresh. I want to get a tattoo for him for a good reason. He had a couple tattoos. I would love to get one of his tattoos, but that's not why I got that, That leads me to another tattoo that I got back in 2018. I mentioned my sister fought leukemia during that time. That was also an incredibly hard thing that I never talked about online. If you don't know what leukemia it is cancer of the blood cancer. Like, obviously, as you can imagine, that is really intense, incredibly intense. My sister found out, and within an hour, she was hospitalized for about 6 months. My sister barely left the hospital, and if she did, it was... That's my dog. She has a doorbell. Very impressive, I know, but we're not talking about that right now. She didn't leave the hospital for 6 months. It was a rough time. I mean, my sister was like a shell of herself. It was really hard to see her like that. But was honestly the craziest thing is that she was the most put together out of the entirety of my family. Like, she was just like, get this over with. I'm ready to move on with my life, whatever. And like every time something would happen, it was just like a chip off the shoulder. So that leads me to another one of my tattoos on my back that I love dearly. And right there in red letters is my sister's handwriting, and it says, happens. Because whenever you get leukemia, that's just that is happening. I loved it. I loved her I didn't give a fuck attitude. It taught me a lot about life. Chris taught me a lot about life. 2018 in general taught me a lot about life. I'm a completely different person in 2018 than I am now. I'm still learning lessons from that year of my life. I've been to a lot of therapy. I am okay. I'm as healed as a human can be. So I'm sorry to get sad on you like that for a minute, but my sister is completely in remission. Leukemia, you usually have to wait 5 years to say that you are completely cured, but my sister is completely cured, and we're actually going on a vacation together to Jamaica in like 2 months, so I'm really excited. So that leads me to another tattoo that I got for the wrong reasons. It's nothing that crazy. I was just feeling, again, harm. I wanted pain. Sometimes the pain of a tattoo can come really nice in a hard time in your life, but that's not the reason why we get tattoos. We get tattoos because we want to look sick as and the design is cool, not because we're sad, all right? So this is one of my tattoos, and I'm so sorry to my friend who tattooed this. This is my least favorite tattoo that I have. This is a GameCube controller by one of my friends back in my hometown that I was really close with. I mean, we still talk to each other. I won't say her name. She knows I'm getting this tattoo removed. Like, I don't want to be the spokesperson for her tattoos. Whenever I'm sporting a tattoo, I'm getting removed. I will say that she was an apprentice. She was still very, very early on in her learning. I just wanted to support a friend. I was really depressed, and she released GameCube controller flash sheets, and I was like, yes, bro, I love GameCube. Let's go. Anyways, she made a few mistakes on the tattoo. Like, some things were supposed to be black, and then she made them red, or things were supposed to be red, and she made them black, and then she tried to like go back over and like fix it. It just didn't work out. I'm not a fan of the placement. Like I said, she knows I'm getting it removed. That may be one of the tattoos that I have to get a cover up on, because if you didn't know this, red ink can't be removed with laser. So I guess I'll go myself. Here we come on to my arm tattoos. Was the two tattoos that I spent the most amount of time and money figuring it out. So this tattoo right here, I'm proud to say, was done by J Baby. I think they're based out of Houston now. This tattoo is from 2019, I believe, like before COVID. So this is Oren Ishii from Kill Bill Volume 1. This is in the scene where it turns into an anime for a moment and she avenges her parents. I got started in content creation from cosplay, and one of my first cosplays was Beatrix Kiddo from Kill Bill. Kill Bill is just my jam. I will say, I think they definitely had a heavy hand. And I actually drove up from my hometown to Austin to get this tattoo done at the time. And I sat in a Motel 8 hotel that night. My arm was on fire. It hurt so bad. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. It was throbbing like no other. And this is before second skin. If you don't know what that is, it is like a piece of plastic that goes over it and you keep it there for 3 days. Not plastic wrap. It's like a second skin, it's called. It scarred up really badly. I have really bad skin that keloids pretty easily. So it scabbed up, and the scabs I did not pick at, but the scabs were so deep, it just pulled out the ink. It really, really ripped out the ink. So a year later, after COVID restrictions were slightly more lifted, I went and I got it touched up. And this is where it is now. If you run your fingers over it, it feels like a landmine because of all the scars on it. But I still think it looks sick as I get the most compliments on this tattoo, and I don't blame them for liking it. I love this tattoo. So then this tattoo was one of my favorite experiences to get done. My arm tattoos are just my favorite tattoos. I look at them all the time. I love them. They're great. I don't know what to call this style. I just found the tattoo artist and I really liked his method of doing tattoos. So how he does tattoos is you have to book a Zoom consultation. And let me show you this tattoo. You have to book a Zoom consultation to book with this guy named York, based out of here in Austin. I love how intricate this tattoo is. And what impresses me about it every single time is that this was completely freehand. I had no idea what I was getting tattooed on me until I showed up for the appointment. This is my favorite part on the tattoo, on how he uses that negative space. I love it. Sorry, it's kind of hard to show. And Yorick, how you book a tattoo with him is you book a Zoom call and he talks to you about what you want. He feels your vibes and then he determines what he really wants to tattoo on you or agrees with you. And so we talked for a while and we really connected, talking about video games. He was like, what do you want tattooed? And I was like, I want a sick ass snake crawling up my arm with a skull on the side and a snake coming out of the skull. And he was like, I'm gonna be so real. That does not fit your vibe whatsoever. Valid, true, but it's the vibe that I want to give off. Cool, mysterious, sexy, luminous. Who is she? That's what I wanted to be. That's who I would strive to be. And that's who I'm not right now. York has a private studio in Austin and it's in this beautiful farmy area out the east side of Austin. I was watching mother cows graze on grass as I got this tattoo done. And he also had such a light, gentle hand. He was not scared of numbing. You look at him and his work and his tattoos and you think, oh my God, this guy's a total badass. I bet he loves the pain of tattoos. No, this guy was like, if you're in pain, let me make you comfortable. It was by far the best experience I had with a tattoo artist. I was super comfortable. I enjoyed myself. I remember it so vividly. I was excited for my second session. He was great, 10 out of 10. I can't recommend him more. I'm definitely wanting to work with him in the future, and I will be eventually. I'm just a little bit of a scaredy cat now that I'm paying thousands of dollars to remove the things that I paid thousands of dollars for, but for good reason. So tomorrow, I'm getting my first tattoo in 4 years by this artist named Jenny Tran Art, and I'm super excited. So the tattoo that I'm getting is a album cover from my favorite anime of all time, Samurai Champloo. Excuse me, I may butcher his name, but I'm too lazy to look up correct pronunciation of this guy's name. I hear Nujabes, I hear Nujabes, whatever you want to call it. I love his music. The soundtrack from Samurai Champloo was the first song whenever I was younger to ever make me cry from raw emotion. So on this album cover, it's called Force of Nature with Fat John. There is Mugen, who is my favorite anime character. I f***ing love him. And 2 little fishes floating around. I'm gonna get that tattooed on the back of my arm, right here. and that's tomorrow. And I will be taking you with me. We're gonna do a mini vlog getting my tattoo. I've been yapping so much, and we already went through a roller coaster of emotions. I apologize. That will be the only time that I ever talk about hard things in life ever again. Somebody asked, are they real? No. I've just been reapplying the same Inkbox tattoos. Yeah, if you go to the Inkbox website, not sponsored by the way, there's a list of tattoos you'll regret and have a story behind list. How much did each one cost is a great question, and I wish I could tell you. I remember, if I remember correctly, this one was like $1,200, maybe more. And then I think this one was $600. I have some tattoos that I paid shop minimum for. All the other ones are irrelevant because any from a shady place, any tattoos from a shady place. The majority of my tattoos are from a shady place. The ones that you see on my arms are pretty much the only ones that I got from a good place, honestly. Somebody did ask, is there a certain theme or aesthetic you're going for? So whenever I started my tattoo journey, I was really nervous because there's like American traditional, realism, K-Kona, whatever you want to call it, there's a bunch of tattoo themes. I'm going to say mine don't really have a theme, and it's not because I didn't want one, it's because I'm stupid and I did no pre-planning. If you're thinking about getting a tattoo, maybe sit down and think, what do I want? What do I think my style is going to be like in like 10, 30, 50 years? Am I still going to be okay with American traditional tattoos? I will say the tattoos on my arm, I'm excited to grow old with my tattoos. I will say my thigh tattoo, I definitely regret, but not a lot of them come with regret more than memories of that time in my life. Yeah, I was naive, I was gullible, and a lot of stupidity at times, but I remember it all fondly. Hi, sorry, it's the next day. I'm actually outside waiting for my tattoo appointment. I have no idea what it's gonna look like in there, if she's gonna let me record, so I'm gonna try my best. I also kind of watched the footage that I recorded yesterday. I'm in my Tokimon shirt, and I kind of realized whenever I was talking a lot about my late boyfriend, Chris, I didn't really explain much, and I kind of just like breezed right through it. So I'm sorry if it's confusing and it was a lot all at once. It's just, that's literally the first time I've ever talked about it. So it's kind of awkward for me to talk about it. And Chris was an amazing guy, and I don't want that to be the only thing people remember him by, you know? I was just taking a shower yesterday and I was thinking a lot about it. Like, I have so much to say, but I don't know how to say it. By the way, I parallel parked. That has nothing to do with a tattoo, but I just want to show that I can parallel park. Thank you for looking. She fixed up the foot, which was a little off, and the fish are a little bit more in, but I think it looks awesome. It may warp a little bit whenever I bend my arm, but I still think it looks really good. She said it's gonna take about 2 hours, so we'll see. I'm excited. Okay, I haven't seen it yet. It went by super fast. Oh my God. Wait, that's...
Do you like it?
That's gorgeous. Okay. This is insane. Not only was it an incredibly fast tattoo, it took like about an hour and 45 minutes. She was so nice. So nice. And it was funny because I was so nervous because I was gonna ask her if I could like stream it. I didn't want to vlog it. I wanted to stream it. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to ask a random girl to live stream in her shop. And I walked in and she went, PeachJars? And I was like, I feel dumb. I didn't ask, but it was really nice. We sat there and we talked about streaming and tattoos for 2 hours. She was great. I wish I got more footage of her tattoo studio because it was super, super cute. But it was overall amazing experience. The tattoo looks awesome. I'm so happy. Like, it's insane. It is so insane. And that is what's on it right now is Sanoderm, which is like pretty much like the second skin is what they call it, and it causes it not to scab, and you leave it on for like 3 to 5 days sometimes, and then you take it off and you got a perfectly healed tattoo. So yeah, really good experience. I'm really happy.